Welcome on the back end, and welcome. We are live on Facebook. Welcome, LabCoatAgents. This is going to be a good one today, and I have the honor of hosting, kind of refereeing, if you will, between these Instagram stars, studs, savants, you name it, whatever you want to call them. And then there's Ed. So we've got Ryan, Peggy, and then there's Ed, of course. But we are going to talk today about how Instagram's top realtors stand out on social media. It's a pretty simple, understandable headline.
Yeah, thank you.
And we are going to break this down and listen to three different perspectives. Most of you know Ryan Garson of Very Social. He is a regular guest with us, a stud, has an awesome platform, does an amazing job on IG. I just met Peggy. So she is joining us here. And Peggy, I'll let you do a little introduction of yourself. But I've stalked her Instagram, and I was on it for like 3 hours. So it's that good. And then, of course, there's Ed. You guys know Ed. I like to pick on him a little bit, and I think he likes to pick on me back. And that's why we have a good relationship. And he does some amazing things on Instagram. So welcome, guys. Ryan, let's start with you. Just a quick little intro to remind people who you are, and then we'll jump through everybody.
For sure. So my name's Ryan Garson. I am a Compass agent, and I am the CEO and founder of Very Social. So yeah, I have 2 jobs. I sell real estate. The market is just pretty crazy right now. So I'm in Manhattan. I have a team of 5, and we're just hustling hard, selling lots of real estate. I think like my one differentiator as a real estate agent is just like my out-of-the-box marketing. And that is definitely because of the help of Very Social. It's an agency that I started over a year ago. We manage social media for brands and entrepreneurs with a focus of real estate agents. It's pretty crazy, but we have over 30 clients, 25 real estate agents all over the country. Since the beginning of the year, we've picked up like 15 agents, and it's been great. You're going to see a lot of the work that we do just on how they collaborate with me on my social. But we help agents pretty much take this off their plate and really help them execute. Obviously everyone's got their own voice and they take the lead on their social, but there's so much that goes into the back end with like writing the copy, the hashtags, the Instagram stories, putting a grid together. So we really handle all of the details. So real estate agents could go out there and focus on selling. And I'm super excited to have Peggy and Ed. They are not Very Social clients, but they are leaders in the space. So I'm excited to kind of, hear their perspective on how they handle their social media. So yeah, that's me with Very Social and Compass.
Awesome. Peggy, tell us who you are and where you come from.
I am Peggy Zabacolis. I've been a real estate agent at Nest Seekers for almost 10 years. I am also on a Netflix show called $1 Million Beach House. So if you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's 6 quick episodes. And my social media influence, I guess, is more lifestyle real estate spec of it. But I guess we'll get more into detail of it. But I'm from New York. I did see a lot of people are from Austin on the comments below. So stay warm, everyone in Austin. And I hope everyone's enjoying their day so far. It's cold and snowy in New York.
Geez, so I think, and Ed, you do your introduction. I think you guys are all Northeasterners. Now I feel like I'm the oddball here, but go ahead, Ed.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me on. Jeff, Ryan, thank you so much. Peggy, I just DM'd you, and now I know. I saw a blue check mark in my Instagram story views. I was like, this is interesting. No one verified follows me. But yeah, so it's cool to see some cool people here, and I'm excited to be here because Ryan and I have been in discussion to see how we can really chat and brainstorm, and I like to call it brand storm. Oh, look at that. Oh, thanks so much for having that up. And I also have these 2 jobs, as Ryan discusses. I do sell real estate, but my true passion comes in teaching real estate professionals about social media and personal branding. How can you build a personal brand that is attractive, that is pretty, attracts consumers, attracts other realtors? We're in this business to really build relationships and make people smile, make people feel good, and move into a nice home. But there's so much more behind the scenes besides just, getting Zillow leads or anything of that sort. There's so much more. So we're going to dive into that today, but thanks again for having me on.
Awesome. Awesome. So, Ryan, why don't you kick this thing off? You've got this pretty cool graphic here of all kinds of activity.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us a little bit?
So, I feel like your in-feed post, that's kind of like the main part about social media. That's what people think of first. The way that I like to think of Instagram, it's kind of like a newsletter and a website all in one. I mean, 10 years ago, everybody was getting websites, and that's how they were branding and marketing themselves. And today, people are going on your Instagram page way before they go to your website. So you need it to really look good. So, there's a lot of strategy that goes into my grid. That's what we like to call it. Like your in-feed post, when people type in your name and they look at you, they're looking at your grid as a whole. So you really want it to align. And so, I put a lot of strategy and thought into my grid. I like to plan it, a month out. Obviously, if there's something that comes up or I take a really good picture of myself, I'll add that to it. But if you could see, I have like branding all over it. I have the Garson team, I have Compass, I have Very Social. I have colors that I like to use. You can see the orange. I like to use the same fonts throughout. And I mix it up. I'll have some like infographics, Motivation Mondays, consistency, happy client, happy life. Sorry, Corolla. I do a lot of videos. I mix in my personal, I mix in, real estate photos. So I think like keeping that grid consistent, keeping it beautiful, keeping it engaging is really important. And like the grid is kind of like your website. You're going to be updating people, but the Instagram stories, which we'll get into further, that's how you really connect and build that relationship. So that's my take on the in-feed post.
Love it. Let's move over to the beautiful one of the group. Peggy, why don't you tell us what your take is on this? And I do want to say something real quick. As I'm looking at all three of yours, and Ryan, you already answered this, so I guess I'll direct this to Peggy and Ed. Do you guys find a necessity to have any consistency with said grid? Because I've seen some people that are very consistent, like the right side looks the same, the middle looks the same, the left side. Does that really matter with your strategy, or are you guys just flowing? And Peggy, take it away.
So to your question, I've actually tried to do the consistency where I tried to make it where every middle one was a real estate post. But with me, I am not as good as Ryan with planning and stuff like that, where I do a little bit of real estate and lifestyle just because my platform is a little bit different with the show. So I can't personally do the consistency of having it like the right side, left side, or middle, that type of way. I do a little bit of everything. My posts are typically more lifestyle and just like pretty pictures for me, just because I feel like that is what my family, and I call them family, not just followers, tend to like. And that's what I've gotten from engagement. And that's what's really important in social media. I do pop in real estate every here and again. I focus more on real estate for the stories, and we'll get through that later on. But I just try to kind of do a little bit of everything. Whatever I feel is good in the moment. I do try to plan ahead of time because it is consistency is key. I regretfully have not posted a post in quite some time, but I do normally try to plan things. And I know Ryan and I discussed this earlier, but a lot of it has to do with, planning out and like having a photo shoot of different types of things and just planning for the next week or so. But my feed is a lot different than yours. Just because I feel like some things don't work for me, but that's also the beauty of social media, is that you have to be authentic to who you are, and you have to see what fits for you, your brand, and your family/followers.
And you know what I love about what you have said, and now Ryan has said before, Ed, you take this over, is notice, folks, there's not a one size fits all answer to this. That you've got to take all the information from the experts, the people that are doing it at a very high level, and make it your own. Ed, why don't you explain your philosophy and when it comes to the grid, which, by the way, folks, this grid is your feed posts, not your story posts. It's your feed posts. Go ahead, Ed.
This is your digital business card. Ryan explained it as a website, right? A timeline, a newsletter, whatever you want to call it. I look at it as a business card. How do I want people to perceive me when they pick up my business card, right? They see my fun side, they see me skiing, they see me talking about Instagram, social media, they see me talking about real estate. I want to have fun with this, right? I want authenticity, as Peggy touched on, is huge. That's my word for 2021 is authenticity. How could I just be my true self? Whether people like it or they don't, I really can care less. But this is what I post because this is who I am. So that's just kind of the vibe that I portray out there. So did I try the whole organized route? Absolutely I did. And it took a toll on me because there was one time where I had to post one of my listings, but the next picture was supposed to be like a quote for it to match up. And I'm like, damn it, I need to post this right now and I can't. So it messed up everything. Since that day, I said, yeah, no more organization. I'm just going to kind of wing it. So I wing it with whatever I talk about. But to really kind of put a bow on this, I guess my opinion on this all is you want to really portray the business side of you, but you want to also portray the personal side of you. You want to kind of put both into one. I get a question all the time, Ed, should I have a personal account or a business account? What should I post on which platform, right? So to summarize that, just post what you wish, post what really presents your brand the best. And in terms of colors, Ryan has the orange, black, white. That's all I see when Ryan posts, just going based off of Peggy. Peggy's all over. She's neutral. She's, fun. She's charismatic. That's just what I see based off of 12 pictures here. That's, right off the bat, and tell me if I'm wrong, but that could be potentially right. And, I see you smiling right now. Same thing with Ryan. Like I can tell because that's the digital business cards you guys are showing me, so that's kind of my point, my 2 cents on that.
And I'd like to know what a traditional business card even looks like anymore. Do people actually carry those anymore?
I think I have one around here.
Funny enough, my business card is black. So I know my business card on IG is colorful, but that's just the way it is. So my real business card.
Business cards are going to be tossed in the trash anyway. I don't even know where mine are. I haven't had one in a long time.
Business cards are like non-existent, but I do like the digital business card. I mean, that's ideal. Like everybody's on Instagram. I mean, I think 40% of millennial buyers, like 40% of buyers are millennial buyers right now. Like that's such a huge market and they're all on Instagram. So really, creating a brand for yourself that could distinguish yourself and really separate from your pack is like, that's what you should be doing right now.
A funny story about that, if I can interrupt real quick. I had a listing appointment once with these older gentlemen. They were probably in their, I would say 60s, 70s. And they asked me for my business card at the end of the listing appointment. I was so embarrassed. I said, I don't have them. But at the same time, I was like, I got to stay true to my brand, damn it. Just tell them, follow me on social media. And on the inside of all my jackets, my blazers, I have my Instagram handle and it's all stitched in there. So I'm just like, follow me on Instagram. They're like, that's cool. You got the listing. I'm like, all right.
Another listing from Instagram.
I love that. Well, and Eric just asked the question about, he says, I have not posted any pics of myself. So are pics of me the majority of the Instagram recommendation? Am I the subject? And I think the answer to that, I know what you guys are all going to say, but the answer is that the reality is like you said, if you give out a business card, what's going to happen to it? It's going to get lost. It's going to fall in a trash can. But what everybody does nowadays is they go stalk you. Exactly what I said I did to Peggy. That's what we do. And so this is the world where the world is evolving into. And so you be what you want to reflect on your social media. So Ryan, with that said, you talk about your top performing posts. Before you talk about that, I want you to also, because I know a question that everybody's thinking is, what should my cadence be? How often should I be posting? So kind of feed that into talking about your top performing posts.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I'm on the stories probably 6-7 times a day. So the stories that's my constant connection. I really feel like the in-feed, like that lives forever. The stories are gone in 24 hours. So I'm a little bit more like myself and I just can get a little crazy with the stories, but the in-feed's there. So one, I'm all about lifestyle shoots. Get a photographer, take a couple hours, go to really, popular spots in your city, bring a couple different outfits. Like if you look on my grid, 95% of my pictures are professional. The one with my family in front of the Christmas tree, that's not professional. That's like a family. And I actually got a lot of likes on that one. That was a really top performing. But this middle one, I did a listing. I had a listing photo shoot and I make a deal every time with my photographer. I'm like, take a couple pictures for me. And I use those always, for my in feed. But I think, you know, on the in feed, I would say anywhere from like 3 to 5 times a week. But the stories, that's where you're going to really connect with people. That's where you're staying top of mind. You know, I think like Tom Ferry and all these coaches are like, you need to be calling people. You need to be talking to people. Like, this real estate market is bonkers. Like, we're so busy. Like, if you can, I want to meet an agent that does a lot of business, that's going to be spending, you know, 2-3 hours a day, just like going through a database, calling people. People don't really want to talk to you. You know, they're busy, they're working, everyone's busy, but the best way to really stay top of mind, you know, without being annoying, and sometimes you can be a little annoying, is just really just putting out good content, putting out content that's value add. So these are some of my top performing posts. You know, my family, like an iconic New York picture with the Empire State Building and just like beautiful architecture. And then just one last thing is like, you don't need to be posting pictures of yourself. I think everyone has their own brand and their own voice. And that's the beauty of social media, is that, you know, you can just be you. You know, if you're into architecture, if you're into food, if you're into history, you know, you could be posting about that kind of stuff. Ed?
I was going to say, though, before you talk, Ed, notice, though, how Ryan said he says that, but he's in most of his photos because he's reminding his audience that he is the subject. Go ahead, Ed.
It's the face. It's the face. You are the subject, just as you said, Jeff. You're right. And I'm glad that you brought up that third video when the realtor can't remember which floor the condo is on. I had fun making that video. And to be honest with you, I was on the 4th floor of my building, and I was headed down to the 1st floor, which usually takes what, maybe like a minute with all the stops and all. In a minute, I filmed a video which got, I don't even know how many thousands of views. You know, that was a lot of exposure, but I made people laugh. And entertainment is one phenomenal way of providing value to a family, a following, right? Your community is what I call it, Peggy, your community. And that is probably one of my best performing pieces of content, is the ones that I make people laugh, make people joyful, make people want to reshare, right? Resharing is a huge component to one's growth on social media, but comedy is huge. People go on TikTok, you know, I love personally TikTok. It's one of the best platforms to really post videos. And if they work on there, they probably work on Instagram too. So what I post is videos because they're funny, they're engaging. Pictures, yes, I post my face, I post my voice because that's my personal brand. You know, I commented it in the messages down below. It's a personal brand. So you want to add your personal touch in any sense that you possibly can, in any direction, to let people know, hey, I'm the guy that you're going to. Whether you're with Nest Seekers or Compass or Remax or a Coldwell Banker, people go to you, all right? You can go from anywhere you possibly want to, but people follow you because of the value that you really throw upon them. And that's what they love. So it's being who you personally are. Yes, in this case, I'm not going to say, you know, putting my face on things doesn't work, because it obviously does, right? So yes, as you can tell, I think the most engaging posts I've had are either entertaining or engaging, making people want to engage. And one picture that I have in my mind, I told the audience, I said, this is a networking event. So introduce yourself in one sentence down below in the comment sections. That's it. That's all I said. I got over 800 comments, I think, which again, at the time is, I mean, for a few thousand followers, that's a lot of comments, but that one blew up. So my 2 cents for those listening, create content that is going to make people want to engage, get into their shoes and see what they want in return, right? And that's what you got to create. You got to create what kind of content your community and followers want to absorb, digest, and come back for more on a daily basis.
Love it. Love it. Peggy, your turn.
My turn. So quickly to what Ed said, I think I always say engagement, or you want to, for your followers, you want to like 3 things: educate, entertain, and find some type of emotion, right? So you either want to educate them for something that is, let's say you're in real estate and you want to educate them first-time home buyers, or just some type of something that will engage them, that they'll reshare, or something along the lines. Emotion, you just want to find some type of emotion from them, whether it's laughing, entertaining, or having them feel a little bit of something that maybe they felt from their childhood or whatever it could possibly be. And entertainment, similarly to emotion, it's just something fun, something silly. And I mean, my top 3 performing posts, which I don't know if these really are the top 3, but I also put a lot of quotes on my post. So I think the one to the left is me laughing. I think I just put like a laughable quote. And that just makes people engage and comment. And then you could respond back to them and just develop some type of following, because essentially your followers, your family, your community is all you really have. And I try to make them feel like they are part of my business plan, right? Like they're business partners in my business meetings. The middle one, I think my caption was very sentimental. Again, brought back emotions. Like I think it was me overlooking the best city in the world, New York City. And it was a little bit of a longer caption, but it made everyone engage in a way where it was a bit more sentimental and they found a little different part of me. I mean, also seeing mine and Ryan Sarhan's backside, that may have helped too. But, and the last one is just me being silly and laughing. Again, another quote. So I think top performing is just those three things. You have to educate, entertain, and bring some type of emotion out of them. And that will have them keep coming back and or sharing and reposting or just doing something to have them want more from you, because that's essentially what you want. And going back, I know I'm rambling, but going back real quick as whether or not you want to have your face in the post or not, find out what works best for you. Some people, strict architectural photos may work wonders. Some it doesn't. Listen to your followers and see the type of, you know, there's insights, see the type of like following and likes and shares and saves that you get and play around with that sense. So if you don't want to physically be in it, you don't have to, but just the main thing that I think everyone on this panel is going to agree on is you have to be authentic to what you are and who you are. Because if you're not, it's going to be dreadful to post and your followers are going to see it and they're going to see that you're not authentic and you're trying and reaching. So be who you are. You'll see all three of us have a different style, but it works for everyone. So take a little bit from everyone and then develop your own style.
Love it. And we've got a bunch of questions, Ryan. I say we keep moving. And I just want to let everybody know that I will get to your questions, Meg, Omar, Andrea, Karen, every question that's been put on there. We're going to try to get to all of them. So let's just keep jamming with the presentation now.
Yeah. Instagram's about branding. I mean, you know, this is a social platform, but it's a platform for us to have a voice and, you know, to connect with our followers. Peggy calls them her family. But you know, these people, they're looking at your content, like you're on the spotlight, and I'm looking at other people's, like, it's not just people are looking at us. Like I'm on Instagram constantly. I have a free moment. I'm scrolling through the stories. But you know, having my Instagram handle, Ryan G Sells NYC, please follow me. I love it. Like one of my in-feed posts, shoot me a DM. I talk to over 200 people per month through DM. So like I'm having conversations constantly. You know, I see something that piques my interest, I'm giving somebody like a thumbs up emoji. Like, you know, people are doing the same with me. Like there's a constant flow of engagement. And so the more active that you are on social, the more, you know, active, the more response that you're going to get to. And, you know, you're building a brand on it. Like this is a platform with hundreds of millions of people, almost 1 billion people on it. Like, you know, put time, put effort, and put some money behind it to really like build out your brand.
Good stuff. Who's next? In order right there, Ryan.
I'm in the middle. Let's go over to Peggy.
Okay.
I just took a sip of water. So brand, contrary to my colorful feed, my brand's very simple, black, white. I have a hashtag deals and heels. It started 6 years ago or 7 years ago. Everyone knows me across the country now with deals and heels. So again, that sticks to me because I love shoes and I would always wear heels in all my postings or my showings. That is my little trend. So pick something that works for you. Again, I do simple black because I want either the photo or the person or the home to showcase and like stand out. But that is what I tend to do. So, but just pick something fun. Like you do your Ryan G hashtag, figure it out and play around with it. It's okay to try and fail. I promise you, eventually it will succeed. So just play around and see what works for you individually.
Ed, what's your take on this one? And then I do have a question I want to interject that you guys have brought up.
Sure. So from signature perspective, it's nice to always have some sort of little trademark on what it is that you do. You know, again, like I have my fashion. I love suits. I've wanted suits. I wanted a personal tailor for the longest time, to the point where I became my own tailor. And then I said, all right, screw that. It's too much work. And then I said, all right, just real estate. Let me focus on that. You know, so I personally love to dress up, just like Peggy with her shoes, right? Fashion is a big statement for myself. When it comes to quotes, yeah, I don't want to be that corny entrepreneur that is just throwing out random business quotes that Elon Musk and Grant Cardone and all these gentlemen said, right? I want to make my own that I've personally seen an impact in my own life, you know, and for example, one of them being, it's not about growing a following, it's about growing a community. I've personally seen so much growth in just by growing a community versus a following, but that's what I like to do. Marketing is really like a first date. If all you do is talk about yourself, there won't be a second date, you know? Like, let's have fun with it. That's, again, entertainment. That's value. That's a true standing point that I like to throw out there. So yes, absolutely. Quotes, fashion. This is my personal little thing. And then the little caveat to it is, I guess, just my little saying, which I always say, today is a great day to be great. And people know me for that, right? I say it all the time. People know it. People look at me, they're like, today's a great day to be great. I'm like, yeah, it is. You better believe it, you know? So that's my little signature taste to that.
I love it. What one question that you guys brought up, you guys were talking about hashtags. Do you guys have any tips for hashtags or how you find hashtags? Well, number one. Number two, is there a particular amount of hashtags one should use on every post?
I'll throw out one of my favorite people on social media, Gary V. He just came out with this new platform. It's called $80. And so you could put in like certain topics or certain demographics that you want to target, and he'll pop out different hashtags that work for you. And so part of what we do at Very Social is we actually do manual growth. So we use the $80, and we'll go and we'll use those hashtags, and we'll like go down those hashtags and like manually engage on your behalf to help grow your followers with the target market. So we don't buy any followers, and it's just been a great way to really organically grow our followers. So yeah, I would say probably, you know, anywhere from like 4 to 8 hashtags. Yeah.
Awesome. Any different opinions?
I'm going to add to that. So there's different applications similar to what your $80, like there's influencer where you can find similar hashtags that will help you grow, but I don't post my hashtags in the actual caption. I usually do it for the first comment because I want the caption to be the first thing people see. And then afterwards, first comment are all my hashtags. So just a friendly little tip that what I do about that. And I think Instagram allows you to post up to 30. I could be wrong. But I don't post that many, probably like 10 to 15-ish. I do a little bit more, and again, being repetitive with it, and then also following those hashtags and liking those and engaging in those hashtags.
Would you say being intentional is important though as well? Not trying to jump on a trend, but being intentional to hashtag what the post is about, not about trying to jump on something else that has no relevance to your post whatsoever.
Right.
Ed, any opinion?
There are hashtags that work and hashtags that don't. 5, 6, 7 years ago, if you really wanted to like build up engagement, people knew if you do hashtag follow for follow, you know, people are just following each other. If you do like for like, you know, people are liking each other's pictures and stuff. But those are now hashtags that are frowned upon by Instagram's algorithms. Today, things that work are actually relevant to the content itself. So if you're posting a picture of a listing that's in New York City, please don't put new listing in Oklahoma or Oklahoma City or like, it's not relevant. And if someone, God forbid, does stumble upon your page, they're going to just see, you know, irrelevance. They're not going to see the line connecting. Like, I specifically searched for hashtag New York City. Why am I getting pictures of people in Hong Kong or people, you know, showing off their shoes? You want to make sure you're very specific with the hashtags you use. In terms of numbers, if we're talking numbers, right? 4 to 8, as Ryan mentioned, yeah, I think that's a very nice number. You don't want to look too spammy. But at the same time, you want to take advantage of getting as many sources out there as you possibly can. So 30 hashtags is the actual the maximum limit you can use it on. But again, Instagram has its little spiders and little bots that check out who's taking advantage of that, right? So I would say, in my professional opinion, stick around 10 to 15 hashtags for every single post you post. and make sure they're relevant. That's my absolute 2 cents on that.
Love it. And I'll give you guys a hack. Just hashtag Ed Stulock on every post and you'll go viral. So
that works. No.
Okay, so let's talk about diversifying content. So we've got Peggy going down probably sledding in an inner tube. We've got Ed at a coffee shop, it looks like, and Ryan learning how to speak Chinese. Tell us more about this, guys.
Well, you know, if you're a real estate agent and you're only posting about real estate, people are just going to get bored. It needs to be personal. It needs to be about you. What we like to do at Very Social is we like to like really break it down. We call it our pillars of content. And, you know, obviously we're going to have like all the real estate content that we're going to put out there. But like for me, example, like I'm a dad. I live in New York City. I love New York City. I love restaurants. This is a video I did with my director of operations. We go to different Chinese restaurants all around the city and we film it and we talk about it. You know, I'm into, and I'm kind of obsessed, Jeff. I'm obsessed with all these dad, like toddler TikToks and stuff like that. So I post a lot about my kid. You know, these are personal attributes about me, and they might not be the same for Peggy or for Ed. Ed's probably a bachelor and, you know, just raging his life away right now. But, you know, I'm a dad with a young child. And so like, I really connect with other dads. Like I could talk baby talk like all day long. You know, just because like that's part of my life. And I think, you know, people that I don't really even know that like see what I'm doing, they appreciate that, they connect with me. Remember, as real estate agents, like people it's like going shopping for, you know, like with a friend, you know, when you're selling a home, like they want to like you. And so like, you know, you want to just show off like your diversity of like who you are. And so again, I'm pretty strategic about it. I really kind of like break down like my hobbies and my interests. And then I'm like, all right, how should I create content about that like this month? And some of it just like, I'm just like taking pictures or videos on my phone and I'm like saving it. And then like, I'll use it at a certain time too. So it doesn't always have to be impromptu.
Love it. Peggy?
There we go. So yeah, my photo is a backyard of one of my listings in the Hamptons, and then me sledding this past like recent snowstorm. It just shows a little bit of both of what I do. Obviously, you're coming here for real estate, and that is what I do. But I also want you guys to all know that I can have a fun side, and like Ryan said, every client I have ends up being a friend. So you do want to be able to find some common ground with this person, because you're spending months with them, whatever industry you're in. If you're in sales, you're spending months with them. So you want to find a common ground. Similarly to what Ryan said with being a dad, when I first started real estate, a good friend of mine just had a baby, and I tried joining all these mom groups to hopefully get like more clients that way. I failed miserably. Why? Because I don't have a kid. Like that, toddlers, babies, I love them, but I don't have that connection, and it wasn't authentic to who I am. So circling back to like a key point, your content, diversify, but it has to be who you are and true to your likes and wants and loves. Otherwise, people are going to see right through it and you're just going to fail. And I think that's what a lot of people have. I think it happens to a lot of people and they get discouraged. So be true to who you are.
100%. Ed, anything to add?
For sure. You want to make sure you're still adding your personal touch to all your content at the end of the day. We've talked about this, but you know, I do like to find my own little growth hacks that I don't post often, right? Again, I know I'm not stupid. Sex sells, all right? People that are watching, sex sells. We don't need to hide that. That is not a secret. We all know that, but we don't talk about it, but it's true. Listen, I knew when I was going to post up a picture of a pretty blonde next to me, that thing is going to blow up. And what did it do? It blew up, all right? Again, am I trying to just push sex? No, that's not the case here. But I know I know how to create content that is going to make people relate to it, right? We all are attracted to specific little things. So I know I posted a few videos where I bring a girl or I bring another guy, or like including somehow in some shape or way, you know, some little diversifying myself with my content. It's not like I do it every day, but sometimes we need that little push, right? So you got to figure out what that might be. Sometimes I'm going to create a video that is so out of my ordinary comfort zone, like a funny video I would never talk about, but I do it just to see what happens. The other day I posted like some rap song. I don't like rap. Rap is not my thing. But I posted a video with just a rap song on top of it. I kind of made it funny. It went, man, people were sending it to me. They were like, wow, this thing is great. How did you do this? I need to steal this. That was cool. I obviously see people can relate to it. So diversifying yourself, don't always stick to like one specific or deal when it comes to your content. You want to sometimes spark a little bit of or strike a chord that makes people say like, what was that? Right? You want to be obnoxious sometimes. And again, I'm telling you what has personally worked for me. It has worked for me. The students that I teach, it works for them. So you got to be a little bit obnoxious in a nice right way, right? A nice limit. You don't want to go too crazy. But sometimes you got to, strike a nerve to make people turn their necks towards you versus someone else. After all, we're in a competitive business, right? Why should they work with Joe Schmo when they can work with you instead? You got to obviously do something different that is going to make Joe Schmo look like a dinosaur. Get out of here. You got to focus on me. I got new stuff. I'm modern. I'm the vibe nowadays. Work with me, right? So you want to have fun with your content at the end of the day. But I guess you have to be authentic. Don't strive away from the authentic side of you.
Love it. I love it. And I agree. And for those of you that don't look in the mirror and love what you see, that's not, sex does sell. That's 1,000,000% true. Like Peggy has a distinct advantage over the three of us ugly dudes. But let's be honest, not all of us are as pretty as Peggy is. So when it comes down to it, and Ed, you finished that off perfectly, just be yourself, man. Like Ryan said, if you've got a 2-year-old, display your 2-year-old. If you have a puppy, a dog, display it. If you like to travel, display it. What do you like to do? Your tribe will find you. So don't be intimidated by the sex sells comments either, because believe me, if I was intimidated by it, I wouldn't be on social media. So let's talk about stories. And we've had a lot of questions about this. So let's, you guys, we mentioned, and several people have asked, you recommend roughly 4 to 5 feed posts a week. That's less than 1 a day. But when it comes to stories, I think all of these guys are going to recommend at least probably 5 to 10 a day is a strong cadence. Ryan, talk about your strategy.
Yeah. I like to use story. I like to test things out, come up with different ideas. I think the this or that is really, really good. And I like to do it all the time. Like it was just Fashion Week. So I did a this or that on Fashion Week. I do this or that on restaurants, on food, on landmarks, on different like negotiating tactics for real estate. The key is that for the this or that is the polls. Polls are like the easiest. It's the easiest thing for people to interact. And you could just swipe up and you could actually see who votes like yes or no. So I'm always doing the polls. People like the polls. Again, just having personal time like that. It's easy to just like take a picture, with my family and post it, tag the restaurant. I'm always collaborating with other businesses. I'm a big believer in small business. So I'm always, tagging people, tagging other agents. I create these series always, different series. I try them out. Like every time I take a buyer out, I always like to put the series of where I went. So like maybe like the agent that I actually showed one of Peggy's listings. It was 6 million and under, and the buyer wanted wanted outdoor space. So I created I posted the 6 apartments that I saw. So she's going to actually say, hey, what'd you think of this apartment? Or even better, and this happens to me all the time, is that a buyer is like, you know what? I'm looking for a $6 million apartment that needs outdoor space. Like, what'd you see out there? How's the market? I hope that happens. I posted that today. But you just need that one little piece of content that like resonates with somebody, that sends you a DM, and that leads to business. I'm selling apartments all the time, and I'm building relationships that way. So it's like the Instagram stories is that newsletter. It's that value add. It's that like keeping top of mind, because people are just scrolling through their stories, and they might just like kind of scroll through, and then there's one that just hits. So we're putting a lot of thought process into the Instagram stories, and the thought process it has the goal of creating a way for somebody to send a DM to you. Like that's what we're trying to do at Very Social, is trying to create engagement. So Instagram stories, like the in-feed is more of like your website, but the stories, that's how you're going to connect, and that's how you're going to build the relationship. Big fan of Instagram stories.
Love it. Ed, your take.
Cool. I was just about to say, can I, I was about to say, can I speak first real quick? Because what I want to say is, yes, I agree. 5 times minimum a day. And I love my face. It's really nice. Very big also. I want to say for those listening, do not overthink this. Okay. We say 5 times a day, but immediately I know some of you were saying, oh, screw that. Where do I get 5 pieces of content a day? You know, there's content all around us. I swear to you. I swear to you. But again, right, I'm thinking in consumers' shoes right now. The people that are watching, right, not all of us are content creators. Most of our are content consumers. And there's a difference, right? The content consumer is the one that just goes and consumes. I like, I engage, I comment, I watch. I don't create because I don't know how to. We have the right brain and the left brain, right? We have the people that are logistic, people that are very creative. For those that are not creative, I don't want you to overthink and take slow, small steps towards posting every single day on your Instagram story. We're saying 5 times a day minimum works, and that is, again, that is, you know, treating the algorithm of Instagram correctly. Instagram loves that when you post 5 times a day, all these little things. But I don't want you to overthink. Post 1 time a day. Start with that. And then post twice a day. And then all of a sudden, you're going to get into this rhythm and this habit of, I go to a listing appointment, I'm going to whip out my phone and say, what's up, Instagram world? I'm headed to a listing appointment. Guess how much this house behind me is? Well, you're about to find out, right? Boom, done. And that's one content. And then after your listing appointment, guys, it went phenomenal. We talked about the price. It's coming soon. Boom, 2 pieces of content. And slowly but surely, you're kind of going to figure out a little bit of a rhythm and a pattern in posting on stories. But as Ryan mentioned, stories are a huge, crucial part of your social media growth. There's a reason why Twitter and Snapchat and LinkedIn now, and whoever else, TikTok, is starting to slowly but surely implement the stories concept, and even YouTube, right? All these platforms are now posting kind of like a day in the life version of what Snapchat kind of started, initiated, right? Instagram stole that idea, and then the rest of the platforms followed. So stories are a big part, for sure. Do not neglect it. But don't overthink it either. Just start slow and then build up.
Love it. Peggy.
I love stories. That is my favorite. There it is. So if you don't have content, right? So every day I have a daily calendar, and what I do is I post the quote of the day. I stopped doing that for a little bit, and I had my tribe, who's so loyal, asking me and begging for it. So you could start small, like what Ed was saying, but I typically like to ask people what they want, like their advice on questions. Just yesterday, I am picking out a wax stamp, and I asked my followers for, they like version 1 or version 2. And that makes them feel like they're a part of you and a part of your life. And that makes them keep coming back consistently. So I love questions. I love polls, because it makes you feel human to your followers. And I get hundreds of DMs a day, and I respond to every single one of them. But that's what you need, because that's how you build your tribe. And I think my earphone's dying. Also, stories are part of escapism. Like when I do a listing, I think the listing I did right before Ryan, I did a live tour of everyone. And I told everyone in my story, hey, I'm going to do a live tour of this new apartment. Come watch me and like come visit it. So I think that's like, stories are important. And if you're concerned about like, you don't think you're good enough, or like you don't think like you don't look good on camera, or you sound silly, I feel like I sound annoying all the time. I hate the way my voice sounds. But you build a tribe of people that follow you, and you're their escape for the day. Whether it's you're showing your food, your baby, an apartment, whatever it is, you're telling a joke, a quote, you're their escape. So give yourself a little bit of credit. And also just start off small and space your stories out. I notice that when I do a lot of stories all up front, you start to lose engagement. So I like to start with a story in the more, let's think of like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So space them out, because they come on the feed as you post it. So I would also say that, just space them out and do it. And you'll notice like what works and what doesn't. But again, be true to who you are.
I could add one more thing to that. You know, your stories, we're talking about authenticity so much. I view your feed posts as very filtered, very edited, very, you know, it's makeup, it's done properly before you actually put it out there and post a nice caption to it. However, your stories, there's not too much of a filter that you can really put on there, as it is right there in the now. So like, if you really want to continue pushing your authentic side of who you are, what your brand is truly about, Instagram stories is a phenomenal source to do that. That's
yeah.
Agreed. And you know, Ryan, we're running short on time, so I want to try to shoot through this, which might actually be a good reason to do a continuation of this one.
Yeah, I think maybe we could just go to Q&A. I feel, you know, whatever, you lead the way.
I think it's important to point out, Reels. Somebody's, you know, I've been answering as many questions as I can just by typing them up. So thank you guys for keeping them coming. There's more questions that I want to ask you guys. We were going to talk about Reels next and just engagement in general, but I think all of you, and I'll have you all comment on this. I think the moral of the story is use the tools. And so in other words, you know, we've talked about the feed, we talked about stories. Reels is a tool. IGTV is another tool. Using the features within the stories is extremely important. What do you got? I'll get just a 1 or 2 minute response to that for each of you on using the features within the platform. And then let's jump into the questions. Ryan, go first.
So, I mean, Instagram wants you to use all the tools. You know, I rep 25 agents. Every one of them is having a hard time with the Reels. It's not easy. Jeff is actually, he's got a video school. He'll teach you how to do the Reels. But you know, I think you just got to keep it simple. You know, I actually have no idea how to do the editing. But I think with Very Social, what we'll do is we'll actually create a script. We'll do a storyboard for you. You have to shoot the content, and we'll edit it and create the Reels. And that's what I just did a really good Reel, I think, about how I came up with Very Social. But it's something new, and you get great engagement from it. You know, using all the tools, Instagram wants that to happen so you can, you know, get higher in the algorithm. You can get more followers, more views, more likes. So I think, you know, you should try to do the Reels, like step out of your comfort zone and give it a shot.
Love it. You guys, what do you guys say? Reels, by the way, is a poor man's TikTok. And I know Ed will agree with me on this, but what are your guys' take? I use Reels all the time, but I love TikTok 10 times more.
I don't have much to say about Reels. I need to step out of my comfort zone and do more of them. I've started to do like a IGTV thing, but I just go back to engagement, where I just ask a lot of questions. Like when my show came out, it's a whole new experience for me, just like it could be for you, like your new experience on IG. I didn't know what to expect. So I literally asked my followers, ride this wave with me, or join whatever that saying is. Come along this ride with me and let me know what you need, like what you want from me. And that's what I do. But I'll go for Ed. Ed could speak on Reels, or Ed and Ryan could speak on them because I don't know much about them.
Sure. So I was an early adapter of TikTok. TikTok was launched, 4 years ago or so. No one really believed in it. I gave it a shot just because I saw what kind of value it has to offer. I gave it a shot. And long story short, I did pretty well with TikTok until Instagram went and pretty much raised the concept of Reels, which I wasn't a fan of at first. It kind of got me salty. I said, Instagram, come on, stop stealing ideas now. But you know what? So I was kind of on strike. I said, no, I'm not doing Reels. Screw that. And I didn't for a while until I did. I gave it a shot and I posted my first Reel, which ended up getting 10,000 views. The last time I got that type of organic traffic from Instagram posts was back in 2012. For every 10 followers that someone has on Instagram today, you're lucky if 1 or 2 followers actually see the stuff that you're posting. Back then, 5, 7, 8 years ago on Instagram, for every 10 followers, you had 9 of them were seeing the stuff and engaging. So it's a very pay-to-play era that we've entered. Reason why I touch on that, because there's a science behind it all. IG Reels right now is trying to just steal the same concept that TikTok has to offer to its users. And that is a lot of organic traffic, right? We post a picture of on our story. We'll get a good amount of engagement. Sure, a few hundred, 50, 70, 80, 100, whatever it might be, views. We post a picture, right? Not so much engagement, but we're still getting it. However, on Reels, all of a sudden, most of the followers that you have are actually seeing your content. So IG Reels is a huge, phenomenal thing to take advantage of in order to get a lot of exposure. But in terms of using or how to create an IG Reel, again, I don't like for people to overthink or think that this is completely undoable, or you can't do this, unrealistic. It's not. If you can't think of ideas to post, go and steal them from others. I personally believe in good artists copy, great artists steal. Good artists copy, great artists steal. Pablo Picasso said that, and ever since he did, I've been pretty much doing it ever since. And to a point where I create my own ingredients, my own recipe. I take a little bit from there, from her, he's cool, she's cool, and I make my own little thing. And all of a sudden it works because it works for them. It works for Ryan Serhant. It works for Gary Vee. Why wouldn't it work for you too, right? With your following. So that's my 2 cents. Don't overthink, but take advantage of the IG Reels, because for every reel that you also post on your story, everyone who views the story actually views that reel and it counts as a view. Every time someone sees the reel on your timeline and they view it, it counts as a view. Anytime someone else shares it to their story and their followers see it, they don't have to follow you, right? Their followers see their story, that counts as a view. Lots of exposure with just reels. That's my 2 cents.
Love it, man. Love it. So let's get to some questions. Let me go way back to the very beginning. Shelly had a question about automation, and I'll just have one of you answer this, probably Ryan. What's the best social media posting platform for automation? Obviously, a Very Social is one, but do you have any recommendations?
Very Social. That's the only automation I know about.
So tell the audience just a little bit about how Very Social works.
Yes, so we are a creative social media agency. So we collaborate with our clients. We come up with a strategy of what kind of content you want to create. We work together, putting it out there through in-feed posts, through stories, creating engaging stories. We manually will engage on your behalf to get you more followers. I wanted to bring on Ed and Peggy today just because, they're not Very Social clients, but they are people that I follow on social media, that I respect, that I think do a really good job. And you don't have to have an agency doing your social media. You could do this on your own. I think that it'll save you time and you'll have professionals actually working on your social to really take it to another level. But they do it on their own and they're brilliant. And I just wanted to have them on to hear their perspective, to see how they go about their social media, how they do their in-feeds, how they do their stories, because I am talking about it all the time. I'm talking to agents and giving them advice and collaborating with them on what their strategy is. So I think to see two people that have over 30,000 followers that are getting a ton of engagement. Peggy's a real celebrity / realtor. Ed is a social media coach, that are similar to me. I think people are like, oh, you have Very Social and you're an agent, you have so much to talk about. But I think, they are kind of in the same lane as me. And they get social. They know how effective it is for them to grow their business. So I think it was just great to have us all on and really just have a conversation about how great social is and what it's doing for our business.
Agreed. Good answer. Going all the way back, Meg, thank you for sticking around. What is the best way, she asked, to get people to comment and interact? She says, I post pretty consistently, but don't find people comment or share. Any advice that anyone wants to offer there, Peggy or Ed?
Ask a question in your caption, whatever it could possibly be. Or if it's a story, ask a question, I'm going to do a post tomorrow of what's in your purse. I'm going to show everyone what's in my purse. I'm a girl. I can do that. That's my following. Ask a question and people will start to answer. And if they don't, that will just continue them to follow you and have more people start engaging and just jumping onto your comment section. Ask.
Do you guys all have your IG posts auto post to Facebook, your stories automatically to Facebook stories? Anybody comment on that?
No. So I was going to say there are 3 ways to post on social media. You do it yourself, you get someone else to do it for you, or you automate it. I personally do not believe in automating. Again, I'm a scientific guy. I've been doing my research on algorithms and stuff. It doesn't do well too much when you do automated posts. But again, it's another source for those that are just, hey, listen, I want to just sell real estate, like social media. All right, well, it's there. It's part of business. So let me just do it real quick. So they automate it. Instead, I'd say you either do it yourself or you hire someone like, for example, Very Social. Have them do it for you manually, right? I believe in doing things manually 100%. So I do everything myself. No one is me. No one ever will be me. No one will ever sound like me or look like me. It's me, right? So that's kind of my honest opinion on that, is if you can delegate it to someone else that can do it for you in the right way, and just make sure to express your brand to them, so they make sure to continue to nurture the integrity. Integrity is everything. The last thing that you want to do is give it to someone else to do it and they completely just mess up everything. Oh, that's not my colors. That's not my logo. That's not how I sound. That's not how I talk. So that's my first answer to that. But second thing, to answer Megan's question, I love what Peggy said, ask questions 100% to spark up engagement. You want to do that. But Megan, if you're listening, if you're still here, I hope you are. My advice is make people want to talk about themselves. People love talking about themselves. If you say, for example, use this as a caption, that's great. Hey guys, introduce yourselves. Where are you from? Well, sorry, what's your name? Where are you from? What do you do? Go. Oh my God, people have a field day. Oh my God, I get to talk about myself. Oh, I'm a mortgage lender. Oh, I'm this. I'm in Oklahoma. I'm that. Oh my God, they love it. You know how much engagement that sparks up and makes them want to talk about themselves? And that you never know. Someone's going to be like, oh, you're from Oklahoma. Same. What's up? And all of a sudden now you have people talking in your comment section and you're not even doing anything. It's so cool. It happens.
I'm going to try that. My next post is going to be that.
I love it. You can tag me. Thanks for the
I'll tag you.
That's a relationship skill 101, by the way. That's conversational or on social media. When you let people talk about themselves, they will just suck right into your bubble. So it works. Do you guys recommend personal, creator, or business account? I know I say creator. Does anybody disagree? No? Everybody agrees. Creator account it is. Omar, there you go. What percentage, I want you all to answer this in a real short answer. What percentage of your business can you directly correlate to Instagram or just social media in general? I'd like to know.
I'll answer that very fast because I know exactly what my percentage was for 2020. 76% of my business came straight from Instagram.
Peggy?
I would probably say around 33%. However, my biggest VIP client came from Instagram. And I mean like biggest client came from Instagram.
Enough said. Ryan, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say it's high.
Instagram is my brand. So I have to say 100% because it's just part of who I am. It's in my DNA. It's like I'm the social realtor. I'm all in with Instagram and social media.
Love it. I love it. I
also just started this whole Instagram and like becoming someone big in the last like year in Instagram. So I feel like the more you stick to it, the more the numbers will grow. It's just
that's a testament and leads right into the next question, which Ed, you already answered this. You've been on Instagram for 9 years. Peggy, Ryan, how long have you guys been on Instagram?
I've been on Instagram for probably 4 years. However, I didn't have a real following over 10,000 for the last year. So I really only just grew in the last year.
Ryan?
August 26th is when I grew. So make sure you go watch the show on Netflix.
I think I was just, I've been on it for 4 years. The first year was just me kind of messing around. Then I got a strategist to help me with my social. That kind of took me to the next level. Then I got another strategist who actually had a real estate background to help me with my social. And that really took me to the next level. And then I'm like, you know what? This is working for me. I'm getting leads from social media. So that's why I started Very Social. I was like, every agent should be marketing and branding themselves on social media. Like, this is the future. So then I started Very Social, and I had around 5,000 when I started a year ago. And now I have like 12,000.
So once you guys all started going consistent, once you went all in, the lead train didn't like churn overnight. What would you say is an estimated amount of time once you go all in that the leads and the business and the opportunities will start? Anyone?
I think it just keeps, go.
I think you start today. You start today and you just put yourself out there. It doesn't matter if you have 10 followers or 10,000. You know, it starts with 10, then it goes to 11 and it just grows, and you just do you and put the time and effort, and it's going to grow. It's going to grow because more people are getting involved in Instagram, and it's just it's just a growing, and it's just part of a social community.
Peggy, you had something to say?
I was gonna say, I think it just naturally comes. I don't think there's really a time frame, and it really could just mean one person could really do something big for you with the first day, or like a year later. So I think you just stick with it. Just like anything, if it was easy, everyone would do it. Just stick with it, and you'll see growth. Promise you.
I'll say farming, right? We're real estate professionals. We know what farming is. It doesn't happen on your first mailer. It doesn't, right? It's not the same on social media. It's the same on social media. Sorry. You can post one picture, 2, 3, 10, 30, 80, 100, and finally, right? Or it could happen on the second one. You have no idea. It's very sporadic. As long as it's quality content, and quantity in this case does count in this formula, but as much as you're constantly posting and people are aware, my thing is this, right? You have good marketing and you have bad marketing. I can go ahead and throw out 100 posts that suck, and probably the 100th post is going to stir someone's mind and say, interesting, this guy always posts about social media, about real estate. I'll pick his brain. Or you can get that person that posted the second video, but it's with, for example, LabCoatAgents, or it's with Ryan Serhant, and all of a sudden people are like, all right, what the hell is this person doing, right? Like, I'm really curious now. So there's so many different ways where you can have either good marketing or bad marketing, good content or bad content. You just want to make sure you're consistent with it, and you throw in quality in there, because those two little elements matter big time. So it can happen on the first post or the 100th one. You never know.
Do you guys recommend 1 or 2 accounts, whether you're new to the business, been in the business a long time, 1 account or 2? Personal business.
I have this conversation all the time, 100%, because like we talked about in the presentation, you need to diversify your content. If you're only posting about real estate, you're going to bore people. It needs to be about you, how well-rounded you are. And I even get with like, I have a team page, or do I have my personal? And I'm like, I honestly, it's just confusing. And I would just keep it one, make it all about you. If you have a team, like add your team onto it, like share content. But really just stick with one page.
Agreed. Awesome. Well, let's see here. We're still hanging on to people, so we're going to keep asking questions. Let's see. Todd, Todd, I don't know if you got this question answered. He says, how do you do multiple stories a day? Mine stay for 24 hours. That is correct. Stories stay for 24 hours. You just do multiple posts throughout the day. Does anybody have a different way to answer that? How do you do multiple stories a day?
Well, exactly what you're saying. Just like the example that I used before, Todd, not sure if you were here for it, but I'll reiterate. You go to a listing, you capture a story before it, and you capture it after, right? You want to constantly post as much as you possibly can, but don't overdo it. I like to post just like Peggy's little formula and model is, post for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and maybe late night. You got to find out what works for you. I realize when I post a lot of stories in a day, when it gets maybe to 7, 8, 10, 12 posts, people start to, opt out. They're not really interested because it's all me, right? Don't be me. Try to be a giver. But when I realize I post maybe 4, 5, 6 stories a day, and I kind of spread them out, people are always engaging. And I seem to get a lot more views when I post a little bit versus a lot. So 5 is like my target Instagram story. But again, you want to post as much as you possibly can. Make sure it's valuable. Don't make it all me.
Somebody asked about spending money on growing their following. Do you guys recommend spending money to get to that 10,000 number so you can get the like the swipe up, for example?
Oh man, can I answer this? All right, cool. Hell no, don't do that. I love it. I get this question asked a lot. I do. And people are like, listen, I just want the swipe up feature just so I can take them to my listings and this and that. You don't need to just do it that way. I mean, there's so many different ways to go about doing the swipe up feature. You can have a link in bio, for example, but I would not encourage you to get 10,000 followers just so you can unlock that one little simple feature. And for those that don't know, you need 10,000 followers to unlock the swipe up feature, which takes you to another link, right? So my point of this is don't do it, because if you're going to have 10,000 followers, but 9,000 of them are fake. And now you post a picture and you get 50 likes and one comment that's from your mom, you know, all of a sudden they're looking like, where's 10,000 followers coming from? That doesn't make no sense. And people are going to perceive you as a fake. Do you want to be a fake or you want to be real? Grow slowly, grow gradually. That's my share.
Can I add to that?
Please.
Can you guys hear me? Because I took my headphones off.
Yeah, go.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. So on top of that, Instagram knows if you buy followers. So like you can't get verified if the majority % of your followers are bought. Like you won't be able, your algorithms will be skewed because they know that they're fake. Additionally, it's like you like what you said, like you want to grow. It's not so much about numbers, but it's about engagement and just having an influence. You want to build a tribe of people who are going to continuously respond to yours. Furthermore, what you can do is there are some things out there that I've never done it, but you can join like a person with a big following, and that's like a paid ad where you pay like $1,000 for someone to like a marketing scheme where they're like, follow these 10 people, where it's one of those things. You can do that if you want to do it, but make sure it's a person with similar followers. Like, don't do it to someone that, like for me, I wouldn't do a rapper, right? Because a rapper would not, like their fans would not want to follow me. I would maybe do a fashion person or a real estate person or someone like that is in my world. So that's the only thing that I would recommend. But even still, I've never done it personally, so I don't even know how good it works or if they stick through. But don't buy, like Ed said. That's a huge no.
You know, we're going to wrap up. Ryan, I want you to kind of close this out. We've got a lot of questions. If you guys have questions that didn't get answered, Ed already mentioned to somebody that feel free to shoot him a DM. I don't know if Peggy feels the same, so I won't offer it. And then of course, Ryan, I know obviously you have a platform to answer a lot of these questions. So why don't you close us out, my friend?
Yeah. So great talk with you guys. You two are rock stars. It was awesome to hear your perspective on social media. Very Social is different. You know, we actually take it off your hands and really take it to the next level for you. We make it authentic. We really want it to sound just like you. The last thing we want is for somebody to think that you're not posting on their behalf. Like, this is a collaboration to really like save you time and let professionals, you know, do what they do. Like, we have a team of graphic designer, copywriters, social media coordinators, artistic directors. They're all touching your social to make it better. We have a package that starts at $250 per month and goes all the way up to $2,000. We make it very highly customized to really fit your brand. Shoot me an email, a DM. We can have a conversation. I think one of the key things that we do that really helps people is we give people social media audits, where we really, you know, see what's working for you, what's not working. We kind of break you down, give you your pillars of content and different ways that you could be posting, what you could be posting about. So love LabCoats. We work with Jeff. We work with LabCoats. We you know, collaborate with them on their social. So you know, we have a list of agents that we've had success stories with. You know, we've been in the business now for a year. We started in January. The pandemic hit. A couple of months later, and like, we're still in business and we're actually thriving because we're in a virtual world now, and you know, connecting through social media is actually a thing. It's a real thing. So we're here to help you grow your business. You know, I think that first entry level starting point at $250 is just a way to, you know, get your foot in the water, and then we could really, you know, take it to a whole nother notch. So shoot me an email and we could talk about your social.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for being on. For anybody who wants to watch this again, you can go find it on the LabCoatAgents Facebook group, or it'll be on their YouTube channel. You can find it either place. And again, reach out to these guys. They are accessible. I promise you they'll reply. If they don't, you can DM me and then I will curse them. Thank you guys for being on today. This was a lot of fun.
Guys, thanks for coming on.
Do it again.
Bye, guys.
Bye.